So last week you talked about the yin and yang of life in Chinese medicine. What is its perspective on good and evil, bright and dark, yin and yang? How does all that work in Chinese medicine?
That's very interesting questions. Because recently I was watching quite a number of the Western film, and it's all about the bright and then the evil, and the kindness and the badness. Okay, in Chinese medicine, yin and yang is a fundamental desire, design about the earth and the world. So it's kind of from my understanding, it's a mechanism to help their life energy moving. Just like if you're thinking about how could you move without two legs? So if you only have one life, one leg, one leg.
Oh,
Sorry.
said like that is so simple.
Yeah. So you need to have two legs. It's one in the front, one is on the back, and then that just will keep moving. So that's why from the Chinese medicine point of view, it's not just the bad and the good, or the bright and the evil. It's because they both have their beneficial part, and then both have non-beneficial part. It's the whole idea is not there one good, another one bad. Is you need both. It just even the brightness. Can you imagine if the sun hanging on the sky all time is burning hot? So there will become disaster, and then because there will be really destroyed what we were said, and the environment, which is called the eco-environment in your body, because our body designed as like rhythms. So the reason is based on the yin and yang mechanism. So that's why there are the warm, the cold, the bright and dark. So therefore you will be able to active and then calm down and then sleep and then rest and then wake up and then active. So that's it's called the rhythms. So that rhythms it's need both part. So when the Chinese medicine doctor looked at patients, they are not they are actually really based on the yin yang side. Is that person have too much yang or short yin, or is too much yin and a short of yang? So because they need to be kind of relatively balanced. So that's why. So it's a whole part of the wisdom of the Taoist and the Chinese medicine is working on how can you keep them in the motion levels balance, because you need to keep life moving. Yeah, so that's why we were always encourage the people who very active say you need to sleep, you need to rest, you need to calm down your mind. You're better empty your mind. but when the people so lazy to sleep so much, it's like, hey, get up, doing things. You need to exercise, otherwise you're going to die. So that's why it's really about them how to stay on the center to make sure that both motion as equilibrium. So in this case, it's not just the only mechanism. It's about how that system really works. For example, but why some people feel very depressed, very dark, and then they just feel like the whole world is going to be end, nothing really interested. But that means it's too much yin or too much heaviness and darkness. So that's why I need to brighten up. So on the other side, if people, and then you will say that very positive, everything's all going to be okay, everything is good, and then enjoy life, drink, and then constant emotion. So of course they will collapse because the body doesn't work like this, and also you're mentally and then also not working only at the one side. So that's why, in a way, so many people said, "Oh, if a doctor tell me I need take aspirin, because I need to clean my blood." So the person takes so much aspirin, and then eventually they got stomach ulcer. Yeah, because they're so rigid. They say, "Oh yes, whatever happened," that they didn't understand. The only, because our body changing all the time. So that's another aspect, very different from Chinese medicine and the Western culture. Chinese medicine always said, okay, you put a little bit of salt, and the cooking is also part of the almost like nourishment and then balance up. But it never says that 3 grams salt, 5 grams water, because I would find it quite interesting when I would come to the friend's home, and the lady is kind of a housewife. Everything she cooks, she measures. It's just like laboratory. So I bring my cousin. She's a high power scientist. So and then we start cooking at her house. And then she was really curious watching how the scientist do the cooking. But she was so surprised that, you don't measure things? You just kind of put the salt and do this and measure. So I just, that's very interesting. You see, the housewife acting as a scientist, but the scientist acting as a children. I just said, okay, I will follow the feeling and then just do it, whatever. So that's represent kind of a different kind of a way of thinking. In the Eastern way, in the Chinese medicine, you followed your heart, you follow your intuition to see at that moment what need be and what is your body needed. It's not the Western way say, okay, if you cook that, this, because to the Eastern thinking, yes, the water may be different. The salt, what you use, and in your house, in that house, maybe this one more salty than the others. There's so many different things in all the time. It's like almost like yin yang, like in Sweden. So the sun in the summer only rising up like a little bit. The hardly see that on the sky. But in Australia, it's very different, right? So the December, on the January, the sun will be really up to the sky, right in the middle. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why they're different. Everything's changing in a different geography and a different timing and different people. So that's one of the reasons people said Chinese medicine is not science, it's not accurate. And I just said, are you sure? Because that's something much more deep, accurate, is because you use your inner compass, which is the information system. Last time we were talking, your body, your hair, your skin, and constantly receive the information at that moment to deal with, to find what is correct.
Yeah, so it's not a laboratory in the sense that things can't be measured exactly like that when you're taking a test or doing a study, anything, because it's changing all the time.
Exactly. That's why, and then so that's what the book of the change teaches. So what means 意境? Yi means, Chinese yi means, that's a, yi have three meanings. Changing all the time. That's the first meaning. Yi also means easy or simple. Why? And then because there are so complicated phenomenon in the whole world. But you see, in the Eastern culture, in the Chinese medicine, the category as yin and yang. So that's why, and then that's what that means, easy and simple, highly concentrate and then categorize them for you to grasp most important things. But the other part, the third meaning of the yi means no change. Why is no change? Because the changing is constantly, absolutely changing is never stop. So that's why no change. So that's partly why. And then so to be a really good doctor, need fundamentally understand this part. So that's why you don't look them, the yang is good, yin is bad. No, yin is help you relaxed, and then dark, and then peaceful, and you're more humble and low key, more grounding, more earthy, and then that's why sometimes you need that. Otherwise, if you're young is like a fire and then go upwards. So you're flying away. So you need, our human is in between heaven and the earth. So we need in the middle. We need in the connecting with the earth and the connecting heaven. So we balance up. So that's why in our body, in the yang also, said the front is yin, the back is yang, the left is yang, the right hand side is yin. So that's why you need the left hands, you need right hands. You need the upper part, you need the down part. It's like a body, the upper part is yang, the lower part is yin. So you need the back part and then you need the front part. So that's why yin yang all needed. It's not just one sense right, one sense wrong, and also even not just said, okay, that's yin yang, the evil and good, so you need beyond that. No, it's not beyond that. It's in it. In it. So that's why it's like life journey. So if you've been a doctor, people start complaining. So, okay, doctor, I feel really depressed because my home have been burglared and then my money is lost. So, okay, in general sense, what I heard in this society, people say, "Oh, I'm really sorry. No, you lost the fortune." I guess no. Maybe that's true. But on the other hand, in China, if you said, "Oh, that's terrible, I've been burgled," or "I lost money," people say, "Oh, congratulations!" We said, "Lost the fortune, and then you gain the peace." Or probably you lost the money, and then you're letting go. There's something you're handing up. You're spiritually developed. So because you're not.
So in this sense, do you see the psychology of the West is we're addicted to one state, into only wanting the good. So that sort of rigidity is what keeps us from, or maybe what makes us depressed in some ways.
Yes, if you're too rigid on the one side, because the whole sense is, if you look how Earth really designed the Earth designed as like a yin and yang, so you need both. So that's not. But rigidity is like, you had a fortune, you own the tickets, lottery ticket, great. And then people were thinking, gaining is good, lose is bad. Actually, in in the really sense, for us, that if you carry too much material, you become heavy. So if you're letting go of the material, you're light, right? So that's why what is good, what is bad. Of course, you have, like I know some people have 7 houses. It's pretty depressed because, they have to mend this part and have to selling this part and the water have a leaking, have a problems, and also the tax and everything. So that they're constantly and then busy for those material. They become a slave for the material. Yes. We are human. We need the earth part. We need money. But if the money become a problem, how can you have a time to relax? Because you just followed and try to manage the money. So that's another aspect. So if you're already tired because of the money and the money lose, you need to celebrate it. Because that's the message to tell you. So, okay, letting go, be light. So, and on that point, so Chinese medicine always emphasize why the heart chakra is in the center. And also from the Taoists that understand the human life is that we are actually, the heart is linked with your soul. So that's why we said body form, and then chi, and then spirit. So that's one of the reasons in the ancient time they always said, the Taoists is talking about cultivate your jing, your essence on the material, and then transfer them into the chi. Chi can be form, can be non-form, transform into the chi that's become lighter, and then it can moving much more free. And then transfer the chi into shen, means into spirit, and then transfer the spirit and to emerging with emptiness. It means oneness. So now, and then cultivate the oneness to emerging with the Tao. Means that the true nature of our life and how is operate. So that's why, and then from that's actually indicate our life is a journey. From that's the bouncing around, not knowing what's the yin yang, how is that you feel good, feel bad, I'm right, I'm wrong, I'm too happy, I'm not happy, oh, am I crazy, I'm not crazy, oh, I'm right. And so that's why lots of young people and has been in that, oh, I should be a nice person, oh God, why people think I'm so it doesn't really know who you really are. So that's why it's bouncing around, so it can feel too pressured. Everybody expecting your that, your parents expecting your that, so you don't really feel as yourself. You're not really understand what is real you or really the happiness. So that's why so many people so rigid doesn't know how to release that rigidity. So they go to the pub and then drink, because to free their mind, the judgment. Because a lot of people depressed because of the judgment. So that's why the Chinese medicine was emphasized that, so yin and yang all needed. So that's why I understand your heart had yang, you have a heart yang, heart yin. So and each organs have yin and yang. Each meridian have yin and yang. And then so that's why that is called simplicity, but is the major principle. So that's one of the reasons when we will see whether this person is healthy or not. It's based on whether they can keep their yin and yang in the balanced. So how to keep that balanced? Because some people tell me, so, I really try to be a nice person. We're so tired because I try to please this one. I try to please this one. And then eventually, I don't know who I am. I was met with a lady. She's the wife of the, priest or minister, put this way. And then she came to me. She said, I was seriously depressed. I just thought, wow, that's person, spiritual leader, or at least the local part. And then, normally you were thinking they got most respect and then they should be happy. She said, oh, I have to try so hard to be nice. I was just so exhausted. I hate to be nice, but I'm not there to see that. So that's partly. And then so one of the reasons we will see the true de means virtue. It need to be natural.
It's not forced.
It's not forced. Why? How can you be naturally the virtue? You need to relax, not too judgmental about right or wrong. But of course, you juggling and to be aware, whether you are respect your own energy or respect the others, because Chinese medicine much more working on the energetically and the information part. But what is most important is about the energy and the qi and about information is what those come from your heart. That's why we mentioned that heart never have a cancer, means they're not blocked, they have a high vibration. So that's why Chinese medicine emphasize the heart connecting the divine. Connecting with the Shen, which means highest spirit. So that's why lots of people say, following your heart, the heart base is the highest of yourself. People knows. So that's one of the reasons in the Yellow Emperor Canon Medicine book mentioned that if you look into that, really mentioned, so our body is kind of a state, it's like a world. It's like a miniature world, cosmos. In that state, you almost have a 5 planet. So you have a lung, like have a spleen. You have all of the 5 organs. That's 5 organs connecting with the 5 planets. So that's why they are constantly moving and operate. So who is monitoring them in their right place? Center. Why? It's the heart. It's your spirit and your soul. And that's why your spirit, your soul, when they are open, so they are constantly to be able to get information, to get to know who you really are. So when you get rid of that too much judgment, but at the same time and learn how to balance the yin and yang, and then if you're really into really truly dark and fear, in knowing, maybe that's my nature, I need to understand to experience that, and then to be able to know how can I get rid of it. That's the point, rather than say, I'm bad, so he will smash. It's not working like that. And also knowing when you're fearful, and then which sense can overcome that. So that's how Chinese medicine dealing with the emotion unbalanced. For example, in the ancient time, Huatuo is treating, that's the ancient doctor treating their official. He's truly worried or depressed. That's the spleen deficiency. Because worried too much, he couldn't sleep and he couldn't really function well. So he heard Huato is very famous. So he invited him to come to his house, and then he, because they know the good doctor, you need to treat them as the royalty. So they gave the food and treat him nice and waiting for him to treat him. So, the doctor eat good food, he enjoy their time, but doesn't see him. So the day by day, because normally people spleen deficiency, they're worried, but they don't have courage, don't have energy to challenge. They just wait. And I say, oh, maybe next day he's going to see me. Maybe next day they're going to see me. So the time just passing by for 1 month. So, and then suddenly he got, the family informs her, oh, doctor left. And then leave the envelope. There's a letter inside. And then said, you're a bastard, host. It's terrible, kind of almost like a very impolite letter. So can you imagine the person had been waiting for about a whole month and gave all of the best royalty to treat that doctor, and the doctor didn't treat him and left such kind of a nasty letter. So he's truly angry. So that's why when he's really, really angry, and then his spleen deficiency get better. Because in Chinese medicine, anger is a liver. So, and the liver can subjugate the spleen trouble. So that's why when he was angry, so his energy surged. And then, so his energy come back. He's getting better. So that means use the shock. And then, that's a traditional method. We say use the shock to treat the problems. So that's one of the reasons. It's not just a spleen bad is bad. Like lots of people say, oh, nourish the spleen, nourish spleen. But because it's still the mental stuff. So that's why you could use another mental, the energy to balance up. Sometimes they give a birth, sometimes they subjugate. So that's partly is like how to keep the balance of that. So what is the balance? Is the heart, because they are leading the whole that state. So that's why when your heart opening up, so you know which method could work in the person. So sometimes some people resting, sleep too much. But when they relax, the heart says, no, you need to get up, doing some exercise. Otherwise, it's like floppy. So that means your heart have courage to take you, get out the situation. So that's why normally people call it as like a pumping intuition. So that's why if you will be able to listen to your intuitive, so that's why you have the medicine within yourself, which is to like the heart to lead you. But a lot of people don't let heart lead them. They let them brain lead it. And then that's the modern society's problem. Because you always that's so many methods is like to treat the people's problems, treat patients' problems by material. So you got cold, okay, take this tablets. Oh, you have a pain, take the painkiller. But in fact, so if you had a pain, so if it's why have I got pain? I probably say too much, not really exercise enough. Get on doing the stretch and the exercise, and then let the circulation move, so you maybe get better. Some of the people had the pain is because emotionally suppressed. So that's why I said, okay, find the friends, have a chat. There are people said, the girl when they get together have a laugh. It sounds like they're not doing anything. Actually, it's the big doing, because the happiness is quite high vibration.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So in this is partly is like, how can we understand there's some many healings taking place is not on the material level. It's emotion and also spiritual. So that's why lots of people start searching for spiritual understanding. So they try to find out the way and why they find the spiritual and spiritual journey. They always find it when they're looking for the spiritual journey. Why the teacher always challenge your ego, always kind of like when you want to do that, they tell you do something else. when you really kind of say, I really want to do the meditation, no meditation, just bring the water and chopping the wood. So when the people say, I come here, I really want to chop in the wood, they say, no, calm down, meditate. They said, why people, because that's rigidity. You were thinking spiritual journey is this way. Actually, your projection is above your mind. Your mind thinking that should be the way. Actually, the real healing and really your heart, your shen, is to tell you how to come out the box, which you thought is correct. So that's why as soon as you can come out, your heart intention, because heart is living in every moment. Lots of people said, oh, the dog is very loyal and the dog is very healing. Because in China we used to, when I was in the countryside, I connecting dog, I love it. But because we're growing up from the city, there's not much animal, because not allowed to have an animal in my age group. But since I come to the West, I just find, dog is amazing, loving, amazing, loyal. Whatever something happening, they're so happy. Why? Because they're living in the moment. But our human, because we have a mind, we have a projection, and then we have a so-called logic. So that's why we're back to really Chinese medicine, what it's about. Chinese medicine doesn't emphasize time is linear. Yeah. So because we were thinking time is round. Yeah, of course, clock. Clock is round. And life is a cycle. Right? You have winter and the spring, summer, autumn, and the winter. So there's cycle around. So the sun, the moon is a cycle. The human life is also the cycle. So how can you just rigid and either this side is this side? Because you got to flow with the cycle. So that's why it's people say it's resilient. Resilient means if your mood going down to the bottom, well, for Chinese medicine said doesn't matter. Okay, So you will balance out, because if it, like, for example, if they're meant to be going that, you allow them happening, because when they hit the bottom, they will come out again. It's just like we said, if you have a cold, catch cold, even you don't really doing any treatment, after 7 days, your body will be bouncing back.
So in a way, we're getting in our own way. We want to do something, like chop the wood, to get a certain result for ourselves. But there's a natural process happening already, and it's like we're getting in the way of that. We're stopping the flow somehow.
Yeah, so that's why in the ancient time they let you chopping wood and bring water all the time. That's a traditional, lots of people thinking Eastern training is like that. They're just like say, okay, follow the natural. The natural, you're going to drink water every day, right? You got boiling water, but in the ancient time you have to fetch the water to boil water. But because people always thinking, I need to be glorious, I need to achieve something else. So that's why they don't treat those small things that important, because their mind thinking here and there too much. But what is the essence about that is to living at the moment, treat small things and repeatedly. It's okay. And also get your mind quiet. So when your mind quiet, you will be much more follow your intuition and much more follow your heart. Because our mind very easy on the way, because the ego. So that's why ego bouncing around, and of course that's why, and if for example, if you go outside, you feel cold, you said, okay, put more clothes on. But if your ego thinks, just for a short while, I'm okay, and then, so that's why some people catch cold. And also the other extreme situations, I find lots of people just totally ignore the body. The ego is so strong, they just think body will follow me all the time, and then they just madly use them all the time. It's almost like you're messing around your cycles, and then you're messing around your internal ecosystem, because they are constantly work as the rhythm for you. Even in the Western Nobel Prize this year, last year they find out, the life actually follow that's the time rhythms. So that was the Yellow Emperor canon books. 2,500 years, they already mentioned that. That's why those sages living in that, the nature rhythms. But only the modern societies, people say, yes, we can do it. So you create electricity, create that. So you completely start ignore that kind of reason inside, and then start push. And how also you just said, yes, I can do that, I can do that. So eventually, and this kind of like the mind bouncing around, thinking you can control everything. But interestingly, the yin and yang, for the masterpiece as like a sage, they control, they can mastering yin and yang, is because they don't try to use the ego to control. They follow the flow. When they follow the flow, they were thinking, that's a little bit too much there. Maybe it's the environment too much, so adjusting that to catch up. Or it's because I'm doing too much, or eat too much, or talking or engaging too much, so I can balance up that. So that's kind of a mastering is from change within. So that's why the Chinese medicine majority time is to look into that mental pattern, and also to look into that person on their soul levels, what is happening. So of course that's another big topic, because each person that must become down to the earth. I have something to learn. So in this case, why in the Chinese medicine they actually even in the ancient time, they're according to the yin and yang proportion. So they also have a category about the what type of a personality of the person. So how much yin, how much yang. So in this type of the person, what you need, take care of yourself. So that's why it's understand yin yang, and then it's not just bad or good or evil. I noticed when our sons was the dark, people said, oh, terrible. so it's rather to understand the darkness also have their, the beneficial part. So for example, I find that lots of very smart people, and then their health very good. So in the evening, they make sure it's very dark. They don't light the light, because in the dark, your pineal glands, means the third eyes, and it was being working much better. So that's why in the ancient time, why people have much more perceptions to understand how things happening, because they follow the nature. When they're dark, they're dark. But now in modern society, when they're dark, you put electricity on to make sure. And I even have the patients and told me the daughter so fearful, so they light the light whole night. So that person's quite depressed because he cannot sleep deep. I said, why? Because she's very fearful. That's why I need to put a light on. She won't afraid of dark. You completely destroy your children. Because that's why I understand these two parts are very necessary for our growing, for the health. And the spiritual growing is very important. So that's why actually, when you understand that, that will lead you and have less fear, because you're not fear of the darkness anymore. You're not fear something serious wrong. So as soon as you say, oh, I'm in dark, okay. So that's why it's the nutrition and courage. So I just feel like probably why, and the earth have a design, have yin and yang. So as to understand that's a basic principle for the health reason, for your mood. Because if you don't restrict on that, because sometimes I find people, you just mention about the devil, there was a red face, suddenly their face gone white, the energy just disappear instantly, because that's a deep fear. So if you come out that deep fear, your energy won't lost. Because the loss of energy is damn sense. There will be, no affected immune system. Because we need to have energy and the good kind of a vibration for your body to carry on. If you're fearful, because that's one of the reasons I find that in society there's issues about lots of situations. If you will see what is really spiritual, kind of nourishing or not. There's one identification can find. Anyone play the fear. is not spiritual. Or must be the purpose. For example, lots of cells. So if you don't take that medicine, you're going to die. Or so if you have that, you must have. The people say, "Oh, really? I have a trouble. I must take it." So I see so much patient like that. I used to treat quite lots of cancer patient. I remember there's one kidney cancer patient I visit. So and then the wife said, "Oh, I heard you treat cancer, so can you look at me?" I said, "Well, okay, because this person is very weak already, so I did the needles." I said, "Well, I already do the treatment. Just let him rest." So the next visit, the wife tell me, said, "Oh, the experts said he need to have a radiotherapist." And I said, "Radiotherapy?" Because I thought he's already very weak. I said, "That's not necessary." The wife said, "Oh, that's an expert. They said just very, very little. And then if he doesn't take that, maybe it's dangerous." I said, "Sorry, if you're doing that, I won't come back." Because I already predicted if he have that, he was in danger. So and then, but she said, "Oh, that's really expert," and. So you can see that if you only look, there's cancer rather than the whole body. Because I look at the whole body, the energy is so weak, the chi is so weak. He cannot afford it, any chemo and a radiotherapist, because it's attacked. But anyhow, so the wife said, "Oh, just tiny bit, because there's experts, they knew what." I said, "Okay," because I'm an acupuncturist. In the West, it's kind of alternative.
Yeah, there's no place for an acupuncturist in this situation.
But later on, guess what? That lady called me and said, "Oh, he's really want to see you." And I said, "Okay, did you have radiotherapy?" "Yes, I had, we know you're right." And we really, I said, "Is he want to see me or you want to see me?" I said, "Oh, we really want you to come." So I come. Guess what? He's already unconsciousness. Because he was conscious when I would visit him. After that treatment, he's unconscious. So that's why the wife understand that I am right.
Mm-hmm.
Because that accelerate, his chi disappeared. So I see him is already, he didn't react to me. I call him, he didn't react to me. So the whole family is standing in front of me and said, "Oh, yes, and then we want to have a treatment." I pick up their regret. Because if they listen, this man could be live longer.
Of course.
But anyhow, so I just want to mention that case. It's to really to understand. Sometimes, for this situation, if you use reductionist and you only say one part, or is the fear, because why patients going there? Because the fear for above, the doctor's expertise. So if we don't follow that, I see some other cancer patient also tell me, they said, "Oh, if you don't have this, and then we won't really do it anymore because they will be really, really dangerous." So eventually I learned, I said, follow your heart, which one you want. I don't really want to get into that complex, but I just want to see each person have the right, follow your heart, to choose what journey your life needs to be. Yes, we have a free will. That's a part of the setting. And also they have yin and yang, they have 4 seasons, there's life cycles. But if you follow your heart, you'll master your life. in your hands to be able to learn the journey, how to overcome the fear, how to overcome the imbalance. So that's one of the reasons. So the most important things for the understand yin and yang, and is to understand that the both will assist you for your journey to be well-being.